Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to syracuse.com's SOS Spotlight Athlete of the Week, where today we're lucky enough to be joined by one of the best athletes in Section 3. She's an all-star in field hockey. She's an all-star in basketball. She's an all-star in lacrosse. She's Baldwinsville's Sydney Huhtala. Thank you for joining us after school today. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
We'll start with basketball because that's where we are. You're coming off a big win yesterday in the semifinals over RFA. That puts you in the championship game this weekend, going up against CNY. What are your thoughts about the week and heading into this weekend's game?
I'm pretty confident in our work ethic to get to this week. I think last week battling through being down 9 and coming back from that and showing like that grit is really going to motivate us to try and get that second chip, and remembering 2 years ago when we lost in the second chip, that feeling, I think that's going to help us like battle through this week at practice. And as long as we work on our defense and everything, I think we have a nice shot at winning.
Well, I was curious, do you and your teammates who were on that team 2 years ago, have you talked much during the year, or will you talk much this week about that game 2 years ago? Because it was 2 years ago, it doesn't really matter now, but those of you who do remember, what kind of motivation has that been for you guys?
Just like, I remember I think we all had like this memory of like the worst part is like, obviously congrats to the other team, but when the other team is getting their names called and they're getting their shirts and they're getting their medals put on, you have to like sit there and watch that. And I think everyone has that memory in their mind, and that's just like motivation to like make that not happen for you. Like you want to be that team up there getting the shirt and the medal.
Sure. Well, you've certainly had a lot of success in your athletic career, so you know what it's like to be on both sides. But you know, in this basketball season, you've been such a big part of your team. Now, that's not the surprise, but I know the extra part was at the start of the year you weren't intending, or you weren't slotted to play point guard. That had to be moved there because of an injury, which is a very difficult position. How has that gone for you? How natural has that been for you? Did you take any time to adjust to that at all?
It took a little time to adjust to it, like because I did play point guard in my JV season, but it's been a long time since then. And for the past few years, I've been more focused on like forward and small forward and like there because I've been put there. So adjusting to point guard, it took a few games to get used to it. And I miss Gretchen, my point guard, obviously. So it's been hard to adjust, but we've gotten there as a team, and it's like all my teammates have helped me adjust. So it's been okay.
Well, as a senior, you would have been one of the leaders on the teams anyway, and as point guard is the leader on the floor. Has that sort of helped with the transition? The fact that you're a natural leader on so many different teams, just that leadership aspect moving over into basketball.
Yeah, I think that helps a lot because like your team will listen to you even more when you're calling out plays, and they like respect my decisions. And like I ask them if they want to run a certain play sometimes too, and I'll run it. So I think it's just a respect factor here and there between your teammates.
What do you see out there? I know field hockey and lacrosse and basketball are very different in some senses, but in other senses, there's a vision, there's a sort of a game sense you need to have. Could you tell us a little bit about what you see on the basketball court, and why do you think it's worked so well for you?
I think it's just a lot of like the movements between all the sports and everything. Like they come like easy, like the spatial awareness and like being able to, what's it called, like anticipate like what's going to happen next, like helps you like learn where the ball's going to go, what to do next, and it like helps you get better with your game, stuff like that.
Well, I know it depends almost the time of the day and the day of the week and the week of the month, but I know you're very active in all three sports. What do you feel like at any given time is your favorite sport, the most fun sport to play?
Okay, I think basketball and lacrosse are tied for my favorite, but field hockey might be one of the more fun sports to play. It's hard to explain. Like basketball and lacrosse are like my top two. I enjoy playing them. I'm very competitive in them. Field hockey is like, I've always had fun playing it, maybe because it's been less stressful to play. Because basketball and lacrosse, I was thinking about going to college for either of those two. So like it was more stressful when I got older and more pressure. But field hockey, there was never any pressure, so it was more fun. But the other two are definitely my favorites.
And for those who don't know, while she's great in all sports, Sydney is going to play D1 lacrosse at Niagara. So clearly that's the sport that she's picked to pursue past high school. Why do you think that was a sport that eventually evolved into Again, maybe not your favorite at any given time, but the one where you're going to try and play collegiately?
I feel like it happened, like, I think a lot of it was who I was playing with at the time. Like my travel team, I just felt more comfortable and more confident eventually in lacrosse. So like I knew that that was the sport I wanted to play in college. I just like kind of knew one day that I wanted to play lacrosse in college.
And you're a defender in lacrosse, which is obviously quite different than your point guard role in basketball, where you're making things happen. What is it about playing defense in lacrosse? Is it just because it complements the basketball side, or is it maybe more fun than trying to score in lacrosse?
I think it's a little bit of both of that. Like it does a lot of my lacrosse defensive like skills I did take from basketball and like it kind of transferred over. But I also like being like the back line on defense, like you cause your team to score if you make a stop. Like you need defense to create offense. Like you need a stop to win games. So I don't know. I just always liked that better than actually scoring in lacrosse.
Sure. Well, you've been a long time varsity athlete, very busy for 3 seasons. You're, as I said, a multiple time all CNY player. I know you play probably at the first just for fun and start winning. But if somebody said to you a couple of years ago, you're going to be great in all sports, your senior year is going to be winding up in a championship game in basketball, and obviously strong lacrosse, he's going off to college. How do you look back and reflect upon your varsity career? Would you believe you've had so much success in all 3 sports?
I don't know. I feel pretty happy with like my varsity careers and like everything I've done in the past with my sports. Like I feel like each year I've consistently tried to like grow my game. I think I did that pretty well. And honestly, I thought it's been a pretty like good time. I've had fun.
You could probably write your book about all your fun times and all your memories. Is there one thing that carries over from sport to sport to sport that you will take from your days at Baldwinsville and look back on when you're gone?
I mean, like a fun time in a sport.
Like a favorite memory or a lasting memory.
Well, one of them actually does come from basketball because 2 years ago in 2020, before Christmas time, we went to Florida as a team for basketball. And we just like, we played a few games down there, but the best time was just being able to like hang out and like bond as a team. We all got really close down there. So like helped with the rest of the season. So like I'll never forget Florida. That was really fun.
You must know everybody at school playing on so many different teams. When you look back at your career in Baldwinsville, will your greatest memory be, those friendships, the wins, the goals, the stops? What do you think will be your greatest sporting takeaway?
Probably the friendships, honestly. Like I'm super competitive, but most of the friends I've made like throughout my life have been through sports. So like I'll never forget like my friends on like which teams I played with. Like all the teams I played with, like it's been like great people to play with. So it's been good.
Yeah, okay. Well, Sydney is just a few minutes away from her first practice of the week, getting ready for the finals. So we will let her go. Our coach is waiting for her to get onto the court. So we thank her for joining us and wish her good luck. And we thank you for joining in at syracuse.com SOS Spotlight Athlete of the Week video this week. We'll be back next week with another athlete. Thank you for joining us, and we'll talk to you later.